Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a sweater or just like a pullover top. I like this pattern because it's really customizable. You can do it with any size hook, you can do it with any size yarn. It just, will change how thick or light it will be. So I'm going to be using weight 4 and 3 different sized hooks. This is just for the base chain. The largest size here is an 8mm. Then we'll be using a 6mm hook for the body part and a 5mm hook for when we do the cuffs on the sleeves. You're gonna need your measuring tape, scissors, and your needle. I also really like this pattern because there's barely any sewing, if any. All you pretty much are going to be doing with the needle is just tucking in your ends. Other than that, everything's going to be crocheted together. I'm making this sweater for my son, so I'm just going to be taking measurements off of like the sweater that fits him the best. So if you want to measure something that fits you, that you really like the fit of it, or if you're making it for someone else, I will add measurements in the description to kind of just go off of. So I'm gonna measure the width of just the one side. So about 13 inches, or this one's 12. I'm gonna do 12 inches for the base here because the pattern does loosen up a bit after our foundation chain. So it's gonna be worked as a whole round. We're not doing a front panel, back panel. It's just gonna be continuously worked up. So I'm actually gonna make my chain 24 inches long. And I'm going to start that with this largest sized hook. So pull that out. Start with a slip knot. Make sure you're leaving a long enough tail to weave in at the end, because we're going to need that. So again, I'm not gonna count my chains. This is just off of how large I'm gonna be making it based on the measurements. I'm not gonna count the rows. And yeah, you can do this for kids, you can do it for yourself. I've made this sweater for adults too. I'm also making it for my friend's baby. It's just a nice pattern that's very, very simple and works up pretty quick. So I'm just gonna chain until it is 24 inches long. And this is the larger sized hook, so it's two sizes up from the main size I'm using. So this is 8, and then for the body I'm going to be using a 6mm. I don't want my chain to be stretched out when I measure it, because then that means it's just gonna fit tighter and be all like too stretched out. So mine's just over 24 inches here. So I'm going to start back. Where are we here? Alright, so I've made the chain long enough. Now we're just going to single crochet all the way back down this chain. So you'll kind of tighten that last chain there and then just go into the next one over. I'm still using the same sized hook. Okay, so I've gone all the way to my last chain here. And now we're just going to fold it over. We're gonna slip stitch these together. You wanna make sure that it's not twisted at all. So lay it out flat, line it up. Now we're going to just slip stitch to this first single crochet that we did on this other side. This one's kind of weird to get into because it was the chain. So we'll just slip stitch that, and now it's joined. And this is why I said to leave a bit of a tail at the end, because it's not completely attached. So we're gonna kind of attach it at the end with this that we left. So now I'm going to switch hook sizes to the 6mm. I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to place a double crochet into that same stitch. Then we're going to skip 1, go into the next with a double crochet, and we'll do a chain 1 and then a double crochet into that same stitch. So I think this is called the V stitch, maybe, I'm not sure. I should probably look that up. But this is the main pattern that we're going to be using all the way up. So skip 1, go into the next, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch, then skip a stitch, go right into the next one. So you're only chaining 1 when you're putting the 2 in the same. Otherwise, when you go from this stitch, you just go straight in with a double crochet to the next one. So skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and keep doing that until you get all the way around to where we attached these, and I'll show you how to join them and start the next row. Just at the end of this round here, I have 2 stitches left, so I'm gonna go and put my last cluster in this last chain. So I'm still gonna skip 1, and then we'll have this starting right here. So chain 1, double crochet in this last stitch. For when we join, I've tried doing this a couple different ways with the chain 3 or a standing double crochet. The way I do this, I find it just looks the closest to keep the pattern going around without really being able to tell. So we did a chain 3 just to start here. I'm going to slip stitch into the second chain, just that loop there. So that'll count as the chain 1 in between our V stitch. So now we've done our slip stitch there. I'm going to go right into this space and do a single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2 and then place another double crochet in this space. so that counts as our double crochet and a chain 1. And then we're going to just do the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in each of the spaces of the V here, not these ones, but just the ones with the 2 double crochets. I'm just gonna keep repeating this until we have it long enough. So at the end of this round here, we got our single crochet and our chain 2. I'm going to place it in this middle chain here. So we got our single crochet, then this chain. I'm going to slip stitch, and then single crochet into that space, chain 2, and that's how I'm going to start every round. And it kind of just will start to blend in better than the chain 3 does. So I want to measure to where the armpit will go, because then we're not going to be working it around. We're going to stop so we leave an armhole. I'm going to keep going for about 10 or 11 inches. I'm just measuring from, I don't know if you can see all that on here. Yeah. So it's from the armpit down to the bottom of the sweater. Make it that long, then we'll stop and come back so we can leave spaces for the arm. I've got my sweater long enough to start leaving holes for the sleeves. I've counted out the stitches I have on each side. So I have 18 and 18 plus 19 on this side. So I'm just putting my stitch marker here so I know where to stop. So we'll start this row the same with our single crochet, chain 2, it works out better if you have an even number on both sides, but that's okay. So I forgot to bring my stitch marker out here. I just stole bobby pin from my hair. So in this last V stitch here, we're just gonna do 1 double crochet, and then we'll finish it when we do our back row. So we're gonna flip our work, and we're just gonna do the same single crochet, chain 2. So that's got a match on this side. It'll just be its own double crochet there. And then continue with our V stitch on the way back. And then this side's easier to do because you're just gonna do 1 V stitch in here and then flip your work and then do another single crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So we're gonna keep that pattern going until we have our arm space long enough. Mine that I measured was about 6 inches. It gets thinner when you go to the end, but I'm gonna keep mine open for about 6 inches. But again, I don't want to go all the way up because we want to get our collar in there. So I'm gonna keep going till mine's at 15 inches, so got a little bit longer to go. Got this arm part long enough where it's up to the neckline. It's the same length as this one. So I'm gonna measure about how long this the hole is here. So it's about 7.5 inches. I'm gonna want to leave around the same space on this side, or this sweater, I mean. So I have 13 inches here. I'm gonna do 3 inches in this side, and then we'll do 3 inches in this side, and that should leave me with 7 inches in the middle for the collar. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna do 4 of these on this side. And then I'm just gonna flip my work and go back up again. So depending on how low cut you want the neckline to be will determine how far up you go. I'm just gonna do 2 rows. So that was my first, and now I'm gonna do my second row here. If you have this extra one here, do that and then do your 4 on this side. Actually, I should have put another double crochet up here, so I'm just gonna go back and do that. So it'll be even on both sides. Just gonna throw a double crochet in the space here and then turn my work, and now it will be even. I've done that. Now we're going to turn our work again. We're just gonna single crochet in these double crochet stitches. So 1, we're gonna skip the chain 1s, 2, 3, And then for this extra chain here, we'll just place another single crochet in there. So I have 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the single crochets on top, and I want to make sure I have that on this side too. So I'm just gonna chain 1, pull tight. I'm gonna cut off here. I want to leave a long enough string to tuck that in good. I want to make sure I'm starting facing the same way, so when I end, the single crochets will be facing upwards. So I'm going to do my slip knot. And so that counts as the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th one, and that's the extra. So I'm gonna go in there, do the single crochet, chain 2, double crochet in there. And put our extra in here. Doing the work. Same thing again. That's my 2 rows. Now I'm going to be doing my single crochet. I want to make sure I have 9 in here. And the 9th one and that chain, and then we'll chain 1 and fasten off there. So that's it for the front for now. We are going to do the exact same thing on the back side, except instead of leaving this space here, we're just gonna go all the way up. So make sure you're doing your same number of rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows plus the single crochet. So when I turn over back here, I want to make sure I'm going to be doing 10 rows here as well. For this side with our extra here, we are going to do our first extra here as well. And we're gonna go into this V-stitch and do the single crochet chain 2, and then just do the same for however many rows you need to do. And once you get to the top, I will meet you back here and we will attach our shoulders together. Finishing up the first back row here, and you're just gonna end it in this V-stitch here, so keep those apart, you don't have to go in there, and it'll be like that all the way up. So just finished my 10th row. Now I'm gonna flip my work and single crochet across the whole back. We've ended on the leftover random double crochet here. I'm just going to single crochet right into the top of that. And we're just going into the top of the double crochets, not the chain ones. I'm not doing these stitches super tight either. I'm keeping my tension pretty loose. Last one in this space here. So now we're gonna be connecting this shoulder part here. I am going to go into the back loop only of this side, and then I'm going to go into the back loop of this one. I want to make sure that's tight. And then I'll yarn over and pull through all of them. Then go into the next stitch, back loop only. Next stitch here, back loop only. Yarn over and pull through all three. And we'll do that till we get to the end of the top of the shoulder. So that'll be what the join looks like for the top of the shoulders. We'll do our chain one there and fasten off. I'm just going to tie these two together. And now for this side, we want them to be going the same way. So I'm going to start at the beginning here, but I want to count 9 stitches out so it'll be even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's where I'm going to start. We'll do our slip knot again. Go into the first one, just the back loop only, and back loop only on this side. I'm going to try and keep the yarn underneath when you start this side. It's going to try and slip around to the top like it just did on me. Do the chain one, pull tight, we'll cut off there, tie these together, and that is the shoulders done, and now we are going to start on the sleeves. So another slip knot. We want to make sure we're counting our stitches all around, so when we do our other side it's going to be the same number. So this is the slip stitch here. I'm not going to go into. I'm going to go into the first single crochet there and do single crochet and into the next. And then we'll put 2 in here where in each of these double crochet spaces. I'll do 2 in this one. And then I want to go through both sides of this single crochet where we went through just the back loop only. Go through there. And then we're going to do the same on this side, go through both. And then 2 in each. Double crochet again. Then we're just getting back to the bottom here. I'm going to place a single crochet in the top of this double crochet of this last stitch, and then I'm going to place a slip stitch back in the beginning of our first single crochet. And now we're going to do a single crochet in there. I'm going to chain 2 and place double crochet in the same stitch. And this time, instead of just skipping 1 stitch, we're going to skip 2. And then we're going to do our slip stitch into that second chain there. Then we'll do our single crochet, 2 chains, double crochet, and then just keep going and do the pattern the same way we've been doing it. And we'll keep doing the sleeve until it's as long as you'd like. So depending on how big you want your cuff to be, you can just measure till you get to the starting of your cuff, or you can make it a little bit longer and keep your cuff shorter. So I'm gonna make mine about 10 inches. This is from the underarm that I'm measuring, because if you measure from the top of the shoulder, it is going to be, usually it's a different length. So or you can just measure it on yourself for how long you want it to be. You can bring it to just your wrist there, and then it'll bunch up a little bit with the cuff. So just make the sleeve as long as it needs to be, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll work on the cuff. Just finishing up my last row here for the sleeve. I'll join with my slip stitch, and now we're going to switch over to our smaller hook. I'm using the 5mm. Now we are going to place single crochets all around the edge here, but we're going to do single crochet 2 together. This one I am going to go back in there, that same one we just slip stitched in, yarn over, pull through, and then go into this double crochet here. We're not going to do anything with the chain ones. Then we'll go into the next double crochet there and single crochet those 2 together. Just keep doing this until you get back around. And then we're going to join back into our first single crochet with a slip stitch. Now for the cuff length, for this side I chained 5, and then that would turn into 4 stitches. So yeah, this will be determining how long you want your cuff length to be here. You can make it longer if you want. This is for my kid, so I want it smaller. So I'm going to chain 5, and then I'm going to single crochet, skipping this one right here. I'm going to single crochet in that second chain from the hook. I'm going to do a single crochet in that last chain. Then we're going to slip stitch back into the same stitch we just got out of, and then we're going to slip stitch into the next one over. We will turn our work and skip these 2 slip stitches there and just single crochet in your stitches here. So I'll be doing 4 in the last one on the end here. I was going through just the back loops only on this, so you can see just the back loop only. Except for the last stitch on the end, you want to go through both, and it'll just make it a little bit stronger. And then we'll turn our work, go through both again, and then back loop only for the rest. Then we will slip stitch in that same one we came out of, slip stitch in the next one, and just repeat these steps until you get back to the other side, and then I will show you how to join them. This is going to be my last row when I go into this one. We get up to the top, then we are going to attach these together. So I'm going to go through the top of this. It's a little tricky to get into sometimes. And then I'm going to go through just the top loops only, or front loops this time. So the loops closest to you, and pull through both. So I'll go into the next one, over top, go through this top loop only, yarn over, pull through both. Next one, through this front loop only. I want to keep this yarn underneath. Then pull through both. Last one can be the trickiest one to get into if your stitches are really tight. So now we're going to leave a tail. We'll pull that through. And now we're going to grab our needle and weave in this end here. I'm just going to kind of go through the top to blend it in a little better and attach that. And now we just want to go back and forth with this and have it tucked in pretty good. Don't want these strings coming out, so going in different directions really keeps it in place better. So you want to do that to both sides. I'm going to cut that string off so it's tucked in. So I want to match it on both sides. I've done the same to this one. I've counted my stitches and made sure I have the same number for the width as I counted for the length. And once you've done both sleeves and cuffs, we are going to work on the neck here. I'm going to go back to my 6mm hook. I just don't want it to be too tight because I gotta get it over my kid's head. So we'll start with our slip knot here. And I'm going to start in the back of the sweater. So we'll just single crochet all the way around. When we get to here, I'm going to go into that space there and on this one here. Then I'm going to place 2 single crochets in these spaces. And I'm just going to the tops of the double crochets and skipping the chain 1. And then the 2 single crochet here again, 2 in here. Last one, and then we will join with a slip stitch. And I'm going to chain 4. We will single crochet 3 down this chain. For this one, we're going to go into our last chain here, yarn over and pull through, and then we're going to go into the next stitch over, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to pull through both of those, and that'll be 3 single crochets there, and then we will slip stitch into the next stitch over again, and single crochet into this back loop, and for the top we will single crochet through both loops. We'll turn, single crochet through both, back loop, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through those 2, and that's our 3rd single crochet again, and then slip stitch into the next stitch, and just repeat this until you get all the way back, and we will join these together the same way that we did our cuffs. Okay, so I've got my neckline all finished up and I've connected it. Now I'm going to fasten off here, and we are going to just tuck in all of our loose ends. We'll just tuck them all in on the inside here. This one at the very bottom that we want to connect. I'm just going to go and loop it through this one. So that's connected better. And then I'm just going to weave in all my ends. You want to make sure you're weaving them in on the inside. Otherwise, you're gonna be seeing it on the outside. Make sure you get all of them. Once you have all your ends tied in, tucked in, cut off, then this sweater is finished. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy making this sweater.